At first, I thought this was not a real thing, but this is straight out of the New York Times, okay? The New York Times. Blizzard is pulling its games from China. Let's get into the video. World of Warcraft and other Blizzard games to be pulled from China. This is actually something that might concern us as Diablo Immortal players, so we're going to break down if it does or does not affect us as we go through this video. Since you can see here, they failed to renew a licensing deal with Netease. If you did not know, Diablo Immortal is actually a game with Netease, so let's see what's going on. So the first thing I was curious about that I wanted to know is which person actually broke the deal. So if you look at here, the US game developer said in a statement could not reach a deal with Netease that was consistent with Blizzard's operating principles and commitments to players and employees. It would suspend sales to China in the coming days. So effectively what this means is out of the two people, Netease and Blizzard, Blizzard is the one that decided we are not going to be progressing with this partnership anymore. Beginning on January 23rd, some of America's most fabled gaming franchises, including World of Warcraft and Diablo, will no longer be offered in China, ending a 14-year partnership between the two. Real quick look at their website for Netease will show some of the games they've been a part of. Things by Dead by Daylight and mobile. You can see here Marvel Super Wars. There, Eve Echoes is one that I've played. There's a good amount of games that they've been popular in that are mobile games. So it says here from the New York Times, compared with many Western countries, China, the world's largest gaming market, places more stringent restrictions on its games, regulating their content monetization methods. And well, I mean, some of the games are still pretty expensive, as well as placing limits on the number of new releases through a licensing system. Foreign game developers like Blizzard are required to partner with local Chinese publishers to distribute their games to Chinese customers. It says here that China places ever more emphasis on security and state prerogatives over its economy. Okay, so read between the lines. What does security and state prerogatives mean? Well, it's China. What's further interesting, it says in August of last year, Beijing imposed a crackdown on games that already made strict limits even tougher. These rules barred Chinese children and teenagers from online gaming on school days, limited them to 1 hour a day on weekend and holiday evenings. China also placed tougher restrictions on gaming licenses. So effectively, gaming in China is very heavy regulated. I mean, we know this. Everything in China is very heavy regulated, and I suppose if you're a Western developer like Blizzard and you're trying to make games and sell games in China, all of these regulations, rules, security, and state prerogatives are probably impeding business. That's probably what this means if I had to guess. Material differences on key terms as the reason for the partnership's dissolution. He added that they would ensure the players' data and assets were well protected. Color me not surprised and not believing. I think if I send any data, assets, or anything over to China, I absolutely believe the Chinese government has my information. There's no way I believe that the Chinese government is not getting their hands on my information from companies in China. That's me as a Western US guy thinking this, okay? Maybe it's not true, but Chinese-based companies, that's just my opinion on it. For instance, TikTok is owned by China, and even the FBI says that it can be used as an aggressive weapon by China. This is the FBI director saying this. So, not everyone trusts the Chinese government. Big shock. What's interesting is they say the fallout is unlikely to have a strong impact on the two companies' bottom lines. I don't see how this can be the case, but we will see here. NetEase's online game business has generated more revenue from mobile games, she said. Other games such as Blade Point, the Western Word Journey series, and Justice are its most lucrative products. I've never even heard of any of these games. Somebody let me know what these are. The company reported that the percentage of total income in 2021 from Blizzard games was in the low single digits. Ooh, right in the gut. All right, here we go. For your Diablo Immortal fans and players, Blizzard 2 appear to have limited impact from the decision. Its biggest revenue generator, Diablo Immortal, an online role-playing game co-developed by Netease, is excluded from the agreement. So there you go. If you're a Diablo Immortal player, Diablo Immortal contract is still on, okay? So Netease and Blizzard, they are still going to be working on the Diablo Immortal project. However, if you look at this here, Netease's shares dropped 9% on Monday, or on Thursday, I should say. So not everyone is exactly believing that this is a good thing. Here's probably what the core of this is. Again, reading between the lines, this is kind of what I think. The new partnership appear uncertain. Xi Jinping, China's leader, has ensured that private companies in China hew closely to the Communist Party's priorities, even at the cost of Western collaborations. So, aka security probably, and staying closer to the state lines. Here's the other interesting bit. So Diablo, like the PC Diablo game, not anymore though. What's hilarious about it is you can't have skulls in China, like anything related to death, like skulls, skeletons, all that. What's a Diablo game? How are you supposed to have the game without death? So they just have these giant pink boxes over skulls over there, which is literally hilarious. You can just look up on YouTube some footage of Diablo in China. So kind of talking about the business stuff aside, this is actually very sad for the players because they were saying this is going to leave a deep cultural mark. People play World of Warcraft, Overwatch, etc. over in China. People, I mean, they're people too. They enjoy the games just like we do over here in the West. Games like World of Warcraft, Overwatch, etc. So it is pretty sad for those players. I mean, imagine you played World of Warcraft for 10 years and you have an insane account and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what, you're not allowed to have that game anymore, and that's kind of a bummer. They see here the China Twitter-like platform. I never know how to pronounce this, so I'm not even going to try. Okay, the hashtag garnered 340 million views talking about this. Okay, they said they expressed shock, sorrow, recalling their fondness for American games they have loved and shares for over a decade. So all of the kind of Western versus the Eastern, political party type of stuff aside from the gamer side of you, this is a bummer, and I feel bad for my Chinese gamer brethren who play games like WoW and Overwatch and all the other Blizzard games and are no longer going to have their hands in the cookie jar for this one. This is a bummer. As far as Diablo Immortal and how it affects Diablo Immortal, however, it looks like that was separated in the contract. What's interesting is Diablo Immortal actually generates a significant amount of revenue over in China. So the one game that is just printing the cash, well, somehow that game isn't one of the ones that get pulled out as well. Who would have guessed? However, the future makes me wonder because at any time, leadership of the Communist Party over there could decide that Blizzard does not get access to any of the East. We don't know. Maybe they could do some kind of, this is all speculation. This is me as an uninformed person being like, hey, Blizzard pulls out. Maybe they're like, fine, you don't get any collaboration or something. I could see some kind of like petty stuff like that happening. For now, though, if you are a Diablo gamer, this should not be affecting us at all. It is just sad for everybody else involved. So if you're interested in playing Diablo Immortal still, don't worry, you're still going to get your fix of Diablo Immortal. That being said, I'll have a link to the article in case you want to read it. There's some other links and stuff throughout that article. You can pick through and read all of it in entirety. It will be in the pinned comment down below. If you want another video to watch, consider watching this video up here, or maybe this video over here. Love y'all. Thanks for the likes and subscribes. I'll see you on the next Diablo Immortal video.